Folks, it's good to have JJ Yoshihara of Junto Venture back with us. Good to have you here.
I'm glad to be back in the Bay, for sure. Definitely.
And again, folks, as you've been virtually following along with JJ, you can check him out on the web at www.juntoventure.org. Again, Junto Venture is the group that JJ is leading. So, we come to the end of the journey. This started, gosh, I think in June, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
The end of one journey, beginning of another. Yeah, so, it did end. It started in June, and it now ends here.
So it now ends in August, and you know, JJ, in the conversations you had hinted at, and being a rather veteran traveler myself, I know group dynamics can be challenging, and sometimes I think they're probably the most challenging part of any journey. Is that what you found on your travels from California up to Alaska and back?
Yeah, you know, the personal dynamics made the journey very interesting. And I kind of look at it as the four of us modeling the world.
Okay.
The four of us had four different intentions for why we were there. We all want to live sustainably, but we all have four different approaches for coming about that. Similar to how the world is set up. You know, I think for the most part, everyone wants the world to be better, but everyone has a different outlook on how it's going to be better. And those different outlooks and different approaches cause the team to kind of clash a little bit, which is normal, and especially with our shock diet of having to eat certain types of food. People with addictions to Coca-Cola, which there was one on our trip, and someone who's addicted to coffee, well, if there's no organic fair trade coffee available, and there's never going to be organic Coca-Cola available, you're not going to be able to have that stuff, and that can cause people's moods and energy levels to just go all out of whack. So,
well, as they say, listeners, the devil's in the details. We want sustainability, we want a better world. You know, certainly there are no easy answers, but you were able to manage these. As I understand, this was your, 62nd backpacking trip, so you're something of a pro at this.
Yeah, I've gone on quite a bit of them, and the main thing, I would say with this trip, it was a little more difficult because it was so much longer than my normal trips. And there was actually a point where we wanted to just call the whole thing off.
Really?
It got that bad with personal dynamics. And as soon as that kind of happened, I looked at the situation like, all right, this is really challenging. And you're only looking right here, right in front of you. And you got to look at the overall picture. And that's kind of what another person brought up on the team. And what I did was, it took me a couple of days, but I was like, I'm going to put my personal issues aside and I'm going to accomplish this journey. I looked at this really challenging experience as an opportunity to really grow. And I am so glad I did, because we had an amazing time. It ended up becoming a really great trip.
Well, I'm really surprised, though. It got to the point where you were wanting to call it off. I mean, this sounds like reality TV gone bad.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that happens a lot in the world. I mean, a lot of times people let their personal issues stop them from accomplishing what they really want to do.
Okay.
And we weren't going to let that stop us. And we finished the journey, and we accomplished what we set out to do. So,
and that's the good part, listeners, is that he was able to promote sustainability and work through these issues. It is not an easy topic to be sustainable, and I think to some extent each of us has our own view of it. Again, I notice you have the Static Mountain shirt on, and again, listeners, you can check them out at www.statikmountain.com. But that's one version of sustainability. Would that be a fair assessment of it?
Yeah, I would say Static Mountain, since a clothing brand that's promoting green bamboo alternative clothing, they're more focused on the environment, and so that would be, eco-sustainability. But there's also, what we're talking about, fiscal sustainability as well, which is making sure you can financially survive with what you're doing.
No, that's a good point. And to touch briefly on what you had mentioned, the journey, the physical journey has now ended. But now we have the next journey, and why don't you tell our listeners about that, JJ?
The next journey is post-production and putting the whole journey together, and also carrying all the things that I had learned on the journey itself into my own lifestyle now, and coming with more ideas for the future to improve my own travel. And so now it's just a matter of increasing awareness here, and also being able to come up with some funding for this project, to finish this project off, and future projects, so that I can be financially sustainable as well as environmentally sustainable.
Okay, so let me understand it. You've captured the entire journey on film, the raw footage, if I may call it that, and now you're going to come up with a finished film and present it to the Bay Area as well as other communities that you met along the journey. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get it across the United States and Canada through various means such as film festivals, through various companies doing conferences, green festivals, like every means we can possibly get this out, because it's a very important issue that needs to be exposed on a large level. So,
well, and if you don't mind my asking, how much do you need to produce a film? I'm quite ignorant of the film industry, but you obviously have put a quality adventure together. You want a quality film. How much are we looking at?
It would depend on the film you're looking for. For our film, I mean, we're trying to get, several thousands upon thousands of dollars to make.
What are we talking? $100,000 would be enough to.
I would say for
50,000. Help me understand.
For post production, we're looking around $100,000 for this, and that includes like distribution and promoting the event. Because if you really want to get it out there, you're gonna have to pay the people, you pay your employees and whatnot. So yeah, that's a good figure. I mean, not too much money, but enough to...
No, yeah, in the large scheme of things, for many large corporations, that's but a blink, but still, it means all the world to you in being able to get that, your message out. Well, to that point, JJ, if somebody wanted to contribute to the production of the film, where would they send the money? Is it just a matter of writing a check and popping it along, or how would you want that done?
We have an online system right now. If you just go to juntoventure.org and you go to the donor section, the contributing section, you'll find where you can pay online.
Okay.
And there's also, right on that same page is also an address that you can mail them the money if you want to by check. So a couple different ways.
Alrighty, and again, listeners, that's www.juntoventure.org. Junto Venture. Check them out. They definitely could use the help on the film side. One question for you on success. How did you define success at the beginning of the journey, and did you meet that definition of success, or did the definition change over time?
This is a great question. So initially, the main thing was climbing this mountain, Mount McKinley. And it turns out, and it's a very metaphorical thing, it turns out that mountain that we're trying to climb, Mount McKinley, blinded us from the mountain that we were already climbing, which was this mountain of this journey to traveling and educating ourselves to become more sustainable. And I can relate that to life because, we're so caught up in what we're doing on a daily basis that we don't see what we're really here for. And that's kind of what the documentary is really going to present. And also just making small changes can really go far.
I certainly am looking forward to the documentary. One last time, JJ, what really matters?
Well, considering that we really need to get large exposure for this documentary so that, we can educate the masses and just have people change small steps at a time, I would say right now what really matters is being able to fund this project and really spread the word of sustainability and everything that entails it.
Well, I appreciate your time, the conversation over these many months.
Yeah, definitely.
We look forward to the next step.